Hey everybody, CE Tech Dude here with another sweet projector review. This time it's the Blitzwolf BW-VP8 projector. This projector is around $100 and it's sold from Banggood.com, and that website will actually give you the best deal. I was sent this projector to review from Banggood, and even though I was provided this projector for no cost, the thoughts and opinions are my own. This projector will give you up to 150-inch display, and I was actually able to test it at 120 inches on my dedicated home theater projector screen. And I also used a bare wall to test some situations, so my opinions will be based on that setup. The minimum distance to get a clear image is about 7 feet away. Any closer than that and you will not be able to focus. It has a native resolution of 720p, but it will support content at 1080p and down convert it to its native resolution. Now normally I wouldn't give a second thought about a projector that only does 720p, but I tried to keep an open mind about this one, and let's just say I was glad I did. The picture quality on this projector is actually remarkable, especially when you consider it's only $100. Colors are accurate and even the black levels are good, which really surprised me for a projector at this price point. Now normally they're not good and they look washed out on a cheap projector, but I was actually really surprised. I didn't notice that at all on this projector. Now out of the box, the user video profile is really nice, but I would definitely recommend turning sharpness off or down to 15, which is where I put mine. After you adjust the sharpness, the picture quality looks even better. Now the profile you pick doesn't follow the input, so if you change from the HDMI input to say the built-in USB input, it'll change your video profile. In a bright environment, use the vivid profile or keep it on user, but turn the brightness up to 90 or so. Now when you do turn up the brightness, it washes some of the colors out, but it still produces an acceptable image for a room with ambient light. Now going over the hardware, this projector is plastic throughout, and it feels fairly cheap, but you probably won't notice that once you get it set up, because you won't be touching it very often. So that's not a huge deal in my opinion. On the bottom it has a tripod mount, which you can use also for a ceiling mount or anything that uses that 1/4 inch screw size. There's also a removable dust filter in the bottom. As far as input goes, this has a VGA input, an auxiliary input for headphones as I mentioned earlier, an AV input for analog video, 2 USB ports and an HDMI port. You also have some buttons on top that function if you don't have the remote handy, but I recommend keeping the remote handy because these buttons aren't super intuitive. There's a focus knob around the lens and a keystone correction knob around the lens as well. And it does come with this removable lens cap. It also has a screw on the bottom that you can use to elevate the front of the projector to help with screen size and positioning. In the box you get a fairly cheap remote that does just fine. It's a remote. You also get an HDMI cable, a dust cloth, a VGA cable, and an analog cable. Now this projector does have some pretty cool features built into it. It has built-in Bluetooth and it has Wi-Fi screencasting. Now the Wi-Fi screencasting only works for Android, so if you use an iOS device you actually have to hook up your phone to the USB 2 port in the back. But if you have a newer Samsung device that supports wireless DeX, this projector actually works out of the box with it. Just choose the cast input, then use your phone to navigate to nearby share, and click on the projector when it shows up. Now you can play files from the built-in USB ports using a removable storage device. Or you can use a USB port to power a device such as a Chromecast or an Amazon Fire Stick or anything that really uses a USB power. It has a 3.5mm aux jack for hooking up a pair of headphones or for using speakers. Now this projector powers on pretty quickly in about 10 seconds or so. But I won't lie, it is kind of a loud projector. You can definitely hear the fan. But once you turn the sound up, it becomes a non-issue. And speaking of sound, the speaker in this projector is pretty decent. If you crank up to max settings, you'll definitely notice how tinny it is. But at mid-volume, it sounds pretty decent. Enough to fill a room if you use the built-in speakers.
You're going to watch everything you've built disappear. Then it's your turn.
Now thankfully it does have that 3.5mm aux jack to use headphones, or another speaker as well. And you can use the built-in Bluetooth to connect to Bluetooth headphones. You can do that from the settings menu. Now using Bluetooth headphones, it basically becomes a private home theater at that point, which is pretty neat. Using this projector for movies and TV is a great experience. Now sure, once you get into 100-inch screen size and above, you can start to notice that this isn't a 1080p projector natively. But it still is a great picture, and I was actually really surprised. Gaming also works well, and even though I'm not super sensitive to it, I didn't notice any input lag in my testing, or at least it didn't bother me. So overall, is this projector worth the asking price? Absolutely. In fact, I would go so far as to say it's a steal. Picture quality looks great, has some neat features built in, and a cheap price. Now my only complaints would be that it would be nice to have another HDMI input. Focus is a little soft around the edges of the screen, and I wish this was a 1080p projector. Other than that, I really can't think of any negatives. So definitely buy this projector if you're looking for something budget that still packs a punch. Check out the links in the description below to buy this projector from Banggood.com. If you buy from Banggood, it'll give you a dang good deal. Thanks for watching and have a great day. See you guys next time.